Hey guys, today's video is about Pumpkin, and this head unit has a tiltable 10-inch 720 display, 4GB of memory and an 8-core processor. So we'll start with the first thing. Who is Pumpkin? Well, Pumpkin have been around for a few years making Android-based radios. And if you have a look at their website, you're going to find a wide array of different options available. A lot of them are on the lower end of the scale with regards to hardware specification. You can find that the majority of them have around 2GB of memory, but the one I'm reviewing today has 4GB of memory, so it's going to be one of their faster offerings. Now, before we start, let me just remind you that I don't get paid to endorse any company or product. And what you're going to hear from me is basically my opinion of the unit as I'm using it. All right, let's get started and unbox it. And here it is. So it's basically a 10-inch display with capacitive touch buttons along the left-hand side, a reset button down at the bottom, and a microphone at the top. It's fairly chunky, but it does actually feel pretty sturdy. And if you have a look at the back here, you can see that it has a bracket to hold it onto the main doubled-in unit. It has these brackets which can be pulled back to hold it onto the actual main unit itself. It's a sticker here which shows that it is a 720p model, so the resolution is 720p. And then it has a single connector on the bottom here, which is going to connect to the main doubled-in unit. And here's the other side of it, the doubled-in unit, and it is a standard doubled-in size, so this is going to fit nicely into any car that takes a standard doubled-in unit, like the Saab that I'm about to put it into. Now on the front here, you'll see that it has a micro SD card slot, and it has the actual bracket for the radio itself, and this is a tilt mechanism, so you can actually move the screen around once you've fitted it to this, which is excellent. And obviously you have the ribbon which plugs into the screen itself. And on the back we have all the connectors. So we have a GPS antenna connection and a Wi-Fi antenna connection here, and a USB input and the main loom connector here. We have a microphone connection here, the main radio antenna connection there, another USB port. Then you have video input, so you've got aux video and then left and right channels for auxiliary input. A camera input. You've got stereo subs, so you can actually have two separate subs connected to this. And then you've got your pre-out, so you've got front left and right and rear left and right as well. Also in the box you've got a warranty card which basically says that it's got a 30-day money-back guarantee and an 18-month warranty, which is pretty good if they honour it. An instruction manual on how to actually connect the screen to the doubled-in unit, and an instruction manual. Then we have a couple of USB ports, a USB extension cable, an external microphone, a Wi-Fi antenna, the main loom which has an ISO connection to make things easy, and some mounting brackets. Now the tilt bracket on this is actually really good. If you have a look, you can tilt the screen left and right, up and down, so it has total maneuverability. And on top of that, you can also tilt the screen up and down as well. It locks into position, so you can't just move it up and down whenever you want. You actually have to move the two brackets behind it so that you can get the adequate height, but that's nice and easy. So this is actually probably one of the most maneuverable screen brackets that I've seen. The only other one that has this kind of level of movement is the SATA. Right, let's get it in the car and we'll see how it goes. And here it is, installed in my Saab 9.5 new generation. It was actually really easy to install. It has standard ISO connections. It has a key wire like most Android head units to connect to the steering wheel controls. It was very easy to connect to the reverse camera that I already have in this car. And it's a standard doubled in, so it just slid straight in, which is exactly what we want. Now this head unit actually does have an added benefit that you don't generally get with other Android head units, and that is that it has a movable mount on the screen, which allowed me to maneuver this screen to face me, the driver, so it's slightly to the right, and I've tilted it slightly upwards as well, so it's in a great position. Now, a quick word for anyone intending to install this in a Saab 9.5 facelift. Just remember that your cup holder is not going to work because there isn't enough clearance for it to come out. But aside from that, it's great. Right, let's switch it on and see what happens. And there we go. So that's instant on, and that's exactly what we like to see with these Android head units. You do not want to be waiting a minute for the thing to boot up as soon as you get in the car. You just want it to be ready to go straight away, and that is exactly what this Pumpkin unit did. Instant on. Lovely. Right, let's talk about the look and feel of this Android head unit. So aside from the fact that I really like the fact that it's facing me because the arm allowed me to maneuver it into that position, the rest of the design of it is pretty plasticky, and it doesn't have that premium feel that I would expect to see with Android head units these days. You have this very thick silver casing and quite a thick bezel that goes around the outside. It does look like a dated Android tablet. It does have these lovely illuminated capacitive touch buttons on the side here, which we like to see, and the screen resolution is 720p, which is also one of the best resolutions that you can get for an Android head unit. You don't want the resolution to be too high because the icons start to become really, really tiny. So 720p is pretty much exactly what we'd want it to be, so that's good. That being said, whilst the screen is very nice to look at and easy to use, it isn't the best screen that I've seen. And what I mean by that is the contrast ratio of the screen just isn't as good as some of the premium units. The blacks aren't as black, the colors aren't as vivid. It's clearly a budget screen, but it still works, and that's fine. Now let's have a look at how Pumpkin have actually set up the software. So we'll start with the dashboard, and it's got a time and date section up the top left here. Then you have the radio on the top right showing the frequency that it's currently on. If we just tap this, it goes to the radio, and you can go to different presets down here at the bottom. Then you have the apps. The navigation button can be programmed to whatever navigation app you want to use, and you can actually change these icons to whatever you want as well. So you can see that I've added Waze and Spotify because those are my most used app in the car. If I want to access the other apps that I have installed, I just press this button here and I can flick through the other apps in a very standard Android fashion. And then of course, if I go into settings, you can see that you have the normal Android settings menus. So Pumpkin really haven't done anything to improve the user interface. They are using the basic Android functionality here. One of the other cool standard Android functionalities that this Pumpkin has is the ability to visualize the battery voltage of the car at the top here. So you can see that my current battery voltage is 11.3, which is pretty low, and I should probably start the engine and charge the battery in a second. Right, let's talk about the speed. This has an ARM Cortex A53 processor. It's a Octa-Core PX5, and it has 4 gigabytes of RAM. So this is quite a dated CPU. It's not very, very old, but it is definitely not as quick as some of the newer premium Android head units. And we can test this by opening the apps that we normally use. So I'm going to open Spotify. And there we go. So as you can see, it took quite a few seconds for Spotify to load up to be ready to use. Not too long, but it was a fair amount of time. And then Waze here. There we go. So again, not a massive amount of time. It just takes a few more seconds than the newer premium brand Android head units. But it does still give you the capability of instantly changing from one app to the other. Once you've loaded them up, they're already there. So you can multitask, you can listen to Spotify whilst you're navigating with Waze very, very easily indeed. You can see that the reaction time is also very quick on this as well. So it is a fast unit. It's not the fastest, but it's adequate. Right, let's talk about vehicle integration. The only thing that I really care about when I'm installing a generic Android head unit into a car is the ability to utilize my steering wheel controls. And I can tell you that it was very, very quick and easy for me to set up my steering wheel controls with this Android head unit. And we do it by going to the settings, we go down to car here, and then we go to steering wheel keys, and this allows you to press a button and then program it to do whatever you want. You can see here that I've already programmed my volume, next and backtrack, play, and answering the phone. So that was very, very easy indeed. The other thing that we can see in this car menu is the element button, and that gives you the ability to change the color of the capacitive touch buttons. Now I've set mine to green because everything else in this Saab is green, so it kind of fits in, but you can have any color that you want. You can also have rotating RGB colors as well if you choose to do so. So that's pretty cool as well. There's no advanced canvas functionality of this. It doesn't have the ability to integrate with climate controls and stuff like that. But as a generic Android head unit, it has everything that I'd really want. And not to mention the fact that it has that movable arm, which also makes it very easy to integrate into specific vehicles where you need to tilt it upwards if it's too low, or tilt it left or right depending on your driving position. So that's pretty good as well. Now from a features perspective, there isn't really a great deal for me to talk about. It doesn't have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay like most modern Android head units. So that's a bit of a downer. Although I'm personally not someone that would use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto for the simple fact that you can install all your apps directly on the head unit, and that's basically what they're designed for. Now, it does have things like CarLink, so you can mirror your phone onto the head unit. You can actually control an Android phone on the Android head unit as well. You can't control Apple though. You can display the Apple phone on the display, but you just can't control it. And obviously, as it's an Android head unit, you can have things like YouTube and Netflix installed, and this one actually does come with Netflix already pre-installed. So that means that you can use functionality that you just don't get with additional head units. But yes, as I say, that's pretty much it when it comes to the features of this unit. Now, from a sound quality perspective, it actually sounds pretty good. I will show you the sound controls. So we go into settings here, and then we go down to car and then amplifier. And you can see that it has an equalizer here on the screen. It has 9 bands, 9 different frequencies that you can control on this equalizer, and then a separate subwoofer control here on the far right hand side. It doesn't give you anywhere near the control of the premium Android head units, unfortunately. Only 9 bands on the equalizer, and you don't have any options to control the delays to speakers or frequency cutoffs or any of that good stuff. Unfortunately, you just get this this graphic equalizer, and then you have the ability to control the fade and balance on this visual aid here as well. So the thing is, despite the fact that you can't actually control much of the audio, it does still sound pretty good. It's probably not going to be to the audiophile standard, but I don't have a problem with it in this car. I can make it sound pretty good on the stock sound system. Right, let's give it some scores. So from a look and feel perspective, it does look a bit like a budget Android tablet, even if it is robust. The screen's good resolution, although the screen is obviously a budget screen as well, because it isn't as vibrant as some of the other head units that I've tested. And the software's very basic. Pumpkin haven't done anything to improve the user interface, although it is very easy to navigate. So from a look and feel perspective, I'm going to score it a 4. From a speed perspective, the PX5 and 4GB of RAM do propel it pretty fast, but obviously it's nowhere near as fast as some of the later units. I'm going to score it a 6. From a vehicle integration perspective, Pumpkin are going to get additional points for the mounting bracket, which does allow flexibility, tilting up, down, left, right, and you can slide the screen up and down for positioning as well. That's very good, and it's not something that you generally get with other Android head units. Plus, it was very quick for me to program the steering wheel controls, but you don't get any advanced canvas integration settings, so I'm going to score this unit a 7. From a features perspective, it's very basic. There is no premium features like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and it just basically does what every other Android tablet / head unit would do. So from a features perspective, I'm going to score it a 3. From a sound perspective, it does sound pretty good, although it doesn't give you anywhere near the control of any of the premium brand Android head units. You only get a 9-band graphic equalizer, and that's pretty much it. But it does still sound pretty good. So from that perspective, I'm going to score it a 5 for sound quality. From a value for money perspective, this Pumpkin was £290. Now, that sort of money is what you would pay for a premium Android-based head unit with premium features, which this Pumpkin simply doesn't have. I would probably personally value this Android head unit around 180 to 200 pounds. So I personally believe it's about 90 pounds overpriced. So from a value for money perspective, I'm going to score it a 3. I hope this was a useful video for you, and if you have any other questions regarding this Pumpkin, please ask in the comments below and I will try to answer them for you. If there's any other head units that you'd like me to review, I can certainly see if I can do that for you. Please ask. If you enjoy my content, please like this video and of course subscribe to my channel for more.